Art does not always begin with paint or brushes. Sometimes, for me, it begins with simple pieces of fabric, scraps that many might consider waste, transformed into something meaningful. Fabric collage art is my way of expressing creativity, where textiles replace paint and imagination becomes the main tool. Hello, I am Dr. Dattatreya Phadke. I am a practicing pathologist here in Pune. And to be more precise, actually I'm a histopathologist. What that means is I actually see a lot of these biopsies which are related to cancer, and that I see under the microscope and then give a diagnosis of malignancy. And also I'm a fabric collage artist. So I use lots of scraps of fabric and I use them to create a painting-like effect, but actually there is no paint involved in this process, but it just gives a painting-like feel to the audience. Since childhood, actually, I've been fascinated with art, and I think the inspiration comes from my mother, because she herself is a good artist in the sense that she does a lot of sewing, knitting, and she's also good at painting and other forms of Indian art like Rangoli. So since then, she has inspired me, and I've been doing a lot of greeting cards, paintings, etc. After I finished my MD in pathology here in Pune, I decided to go abroad, mainly in the United States, to pursue higher education. So I started doing again a few paintings, watercolors, etc. And then I went to this art festival in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And as we were just, walking around and seeing different kinds of arts, I just sort of paused because I saw some really wonderful art quills that a lady had showcased. And this was in a booth there itself in Ann Arbor. So I stopped and I was gazing and looking at all those art forms, and I just fell in love with all those wonderful, catchy, colorful, art pieces that she had showcased. So I just paused and I started, talking to her, and in a conversation asked her, how are you doing this form of art? And I was really intrigued in all this process. So she told me that actually I take lots of scraps and pieces of fabric, and I, actually put them on a base which is also fabric, and I top sew on it. So I said, oh, top sew on it. But obviously I don't know how to sew. So how should I maybe go about doing this? Then suddenly it dawned upon me that, oh, maybe I should try something different and try to glue these fabric pieces onto a canvas board. So I just took some of these art, fabric pieces, and I started gluing them on this small piece of, canvas board. And it just was so different, this whole process of, fabric, gluing, etc. And I thought, oh, this really seems to be a really different kind of art. And that's where I really fell in love with this fabric as a medium. And also at that time, my father was visiting us while we were in the US. And unfortunately, he just fell sick. And it was a real stressful time at that time. So I, just as a stress buster, I thought, oh, maybe this art form, I will try to, do it, and it will just relieve me from all the pain that whatever is going on in our life at this moment. And that's where I actually started doing all this fabric collage. So the most important is how you glue this fabric and which type of fabric you use. So the challenging part is how to create a depth in this, collage, so that to get this 3D kind of effect of a painting. So I started using different types of collage, pieces like cotton, different polyester, silks, etc. to get that vibrancy in the medium. So most of my fabric collages are actually inspired from travel. I take a lot of pictures and photographs when I travel, and when I come back, there is some photograph which kind of sticks in my mind, and that is where I draw my inspiration. So firstly, I draw a little sketch on a paper, and it's just a sort of a rough sketch of, maybe where the tree is, or maybe a mountain, etc. from the photograph. and it's just a sketch which is on a small piece of paper and not actually on the canvas board which I'm using as the base. Then I sort of imagine, okay, which fabric will I be using for this particular piece? So then I have a now stack of fabrics, and they have been sort of segregated now according to their colors. And so I choose the fabric. Maybe the sky has different kinds of blue shades in it, maybe a little bit of gray, maybe a bit of pink. So that is where I start. Once I started doing this, I became actually better. First, obviously, I was not as good. But as I just kept on doing these fabric pieces, I think it just went on, and I probably succeeded, that's what I felt, in making this wonderful fabric collage. I start first from the background, which is the sky in a particular piece. And then I go to the foreground and usually use the fabrics which are sort of equivalent to what is in the photograph. So that is where I draw my inspiration and also use fabric as my color palette. As I said, there is no paint, but I try to create this fabric collage which looks like a painting. I use different textures also of fabric, and these could be cotton. Again, in cotton, they could be thick, it could be thin, and also different shades of maybe polyester fabric, silk, organza. And this is especially very helpful for me when I have to create like shadows, especially of trees or the sun, etc. I really like to travel a lot. So actually, when we were in the United States, we traveled a lot, mostly to South America and other parts of US. So we went to a place which is actually in a place called Birmingham, and in Michigan. And there is actually a Japanese garden over there. And as we were strolling, we just went and saw this nice red bridge. There were people walking on it. There were a lot of these trees with a lot of beautiful pink flowers, and it was casting their shadows and reflections in the water. There was a little pond over there else. So I said, wow, this really looks a very nice piece, and I really got inspired to do a fabric collage. I thought, oh, this is really a good piece to do a fabric collage. So I went back home and tried to collect all the fabric pieces which I had, and I thought, well, how am I going to get this sort of reflection of the trees in the water? It's really a challenge, and I said, well, I should take up this challenge and try to create this fabric collage. So this is actually the completed piece, and this was in the early days when I was doing my fabric collage. And here, as you can see, as I said, there was this red bridge which was casting its reflection in the water, and all these trees with this little pink flowers, again casting their shadow in the and the reflections in the water. So I had to decide now which are the different types of fabric which I can use to have this reflection sort of effect in my collage. So I had all these shades of blue firstly in the background, which is the sky, and then I had to create all these tree trunks and these little flowers in between the trees and the leaves. So I did this tree trunks in a dark shades of brown, and to get the reflections I thought, well, maybe I should use a little lighter shade so that it gives that reflection effect in the water. So at the end I was pretty pleased with this. And then when I finished it, luckily there were actually two sort of art festivals and also art societies which I had joined when I was there in Michigan. And they had their annual celebration and also the exhibition which was going to be held. So I thought, oh, let me try, maybe I should showcase my work over there. And this is a different kind of medium, so I wanted to see how the audience also, whether they like it or what is their sort of response to it. So I did showcase it, and actually I was really amazed because when they announced the winners, I was actually one of the winner, and my piece had won a prize over there. So I was absolutely overjoyed because this was in my early days, and I thought, well, it really seems like people have liked my art. And it's different for your relatives or anybody else to sort of appreciate your art and give you compliments. But when it's a third person, and also when you win a particular prize, then I think, you really feel really joyful, and you feel, oh, okay, maybe I'm on the right path. So that's where this was probably where I said, okay, I think I should continue in my journey of fabric collage. And the other thing which also I felt was nice, that when people were actually seeing this in the exhibition, they came and stopped by and they asked me, how did you start about this? This is a completely different medium that we are seeing. And the most exciting part was after, I think 2022 in December, I got an opportunity to showcase in Jehangir Art Gallery in Mumbai. And this was a solo show. So when I got this opportunity, I was absolutely thrilled, because it's really so difficult to get a chance to showcase your work in Jehangir Art Gallery. So when I told people that I'm going to showcase my work in Jehangir, they said, oh wow, that is really wonderful, that just go and showcase your work. So if someone can actually do art using this kind of discarded material, it would be even more helpful and beneficial to the environment. So that's where I used my fabric scraps from discarded pieces. So the main thing is that people should try, at least give it a try, to use things that maybe are just thrown away, and you can maybe create so many different types of art from it. I've seen a few exhibitions where people have used different kinds of things. Everybody should just take up something and try, so that it will help them as well as the society also, and try to inspire others to do more art. Joy, I think, doubles when you share, and I think so does art. So that's what I really feel that everyone should do.